play some tunes. I guess we're live. We're live. Hey y'all, Dave Brown here. It's Thursday night, 8 o'clock on the East Coast. Still got a little bit of light out. Welcome to jamplay.com. It is week 3 of Jam of the Week. We were sampling that track as it was coming in, trying to figure out the whole everything. Hopefully you're hanging. Hopefully you're well. Hopefully you got your guitar. Hopefully you want to play some tunes. Let's get started. So today we got a track in the vein of like Alabama Shakes or Lake Street Dive, that kind of feel. 3-chord jam, pretty straightforward. Basic progression today is gonna go A, okay. Then we're gonna go B minor. Ooh, already out of tune. To D, back to A. And so for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, the concept of this course, especially this lesson today, is that we take on a progression and I give you different layers of things you can do, and each layer gets progressively harder. So, you know, if you're a beginner, you can just play the basic chords. If you're sort of in between, we can do the rhythm part, you know, and if you are, I don't know, pretty good, you can try the lead part as well. All things to think about. The concept is, you know, we're just trying to go, hey, I got some chords, let's jam them. Okay, what would you do with that? If you just sat down with a buddy in the before times and you wanted to play some tunes together, that's what you would do. So again, like I said, today's progression is A for a bar, B minor for a bar, D for a bar, A for a bar, and then you repeat the whole thing. As always, if you have questions, we're going to try and keep them to the end. We usually do. But if you have any questions, Jason's been in the helm. He would be happy to field them for you and then Skype them over to me. It's a very intricate process we have here at jamplay.com during this whole apocalypse thing. So, anywho, that is the A, the B minor, the D, and the A. That's your skeleton of the jam, okay? So let's take a look. We're going to take a look at the very first rhythm option. And, you know, it's basically those chords, but we're just going to get a little happier, a little busier on the right hand. So, and it's going to be a lot of muting. Honestly, like the track, if you're listening to the chords, they're technically bar chords, and we're going to do that for the rhythm part too. But until then, we got to come up with your most basic option. Now, unfortunately, you know, actually, okay, so the chord progression is A, B minor, and D, essentially. So that's a 1, 2, 4 in the key of A. If you wanted to, I didn't write this out like this, but if you don't want to deal with a bar chord, you could capo the 2nd fret and play G, A minor, C, and then G. And that's probably the easiest way. So, you know, got a capo right here. So if you put a capo on the 2nd fret, so you can use those chords. When I go to play, you know, I'm about to teach the actual part in the key of what we're in. So it's going to go A, B minor, D. So when I play A, if you don't want to play bar chords, you capo the 2nd fret, you play a G. When I play B minor, you play A minor. When I play D, you play C, and then we'll all live happily ever after. Till then, let's go over that. So you're going to go 2 A chords. Notice I'm muting with the right hand. I'm really keeping it staccato. And so then you're going to go up on the scrape. So basically what you're going to do is, you know, you're not really worried too much about what's going on. Notice there's no 0 on the 1st string. It's not to say you can't play that note, but we're trying to, you know, it's very percussive. It's very staccato. So the more control you have over the notes, the better. So moral of the story is I'm kind of getting lazy with my 1st finger, so it's kind of muting the 1st string. So, you know, and then I'm touching the side of the 6th string with my thumb. So when I play, that's all you're hearing is 5, 4, 3, and 2. So that's a little trick of the trade. muting on the side, go nuts on the right hand. Everything is fun. So, and so all you're going to do on that and, so it's down, down. What is going on? Sorry, I hope we didn't lose the feed or anything. No, sorry, my iPad was trying to update. Okay, I think we're still good. Wait, amateur hour, amateur hour, amateur hour. Thanks for sticking with us. So again, you're going down, down, down. Okay, so down, down, muting twice. And then up on, you're kind of just relaxing your finger. And if you happen to hit that open string, it's still good. It's just percussive. And then you're going to immediately do a down strum after that. So it's, I keep going one thing's faster. So, okay. Then you're going to play the root after that. Then you're going to play the chord again. And we'll just go that far. So it's going to go. Again. 3, 4. One more time. Then you got to get to that B minor really quick. And you can do that with an up strum. I wrote an up strum on the page in the tab. You can also do a down strum. It feels kind of, I can go either way on that one. So you can too. Just be consistent though. Choose whatever feels better right now and stick. Okay, so you're going to let that ring and you're going to skip over with the next down strum. So those of you who aren't really incredibly familiar with alternate strumming, essentially you're going down on the numbers and up on the ands, and that's why I recommend, it's not a hard fast rule, but it's a general good kind of template to stick to for sure. So for instance, that B minor comes in on the and of 4, so it would be an up strum, but sometimes it feels better as a down, and sometimes the sound just feels better with a down strum because it has this slightly different tone. Things to think about. But so you're going to go up. The moral of the story is you're going to go up, you're going to skip, and then you're going to hit again. So it's like. So that way, you know, if you tie everything to the non-stop pendulum, metronome, basically your arm becomes the metronome, an old school metronome. If you tie everything to that, you won't really lose beat. You won't try and force chords quicker than they should come, or you won't, you know, be behind the beat as long as this is nice and steady. So again, it's going to go. Then you're going to go, you're going to play the root really quick. And you're going to go, up strums are going to be mutes in between. So it's going to go, so 3, 4, and 1. So you, again, I'm just releasing the pressure on my left hand. Okay, so it's going to go 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, one more time. 3, 4 and 1, 2. Okay, one more time. 3, 4 and 1, 2. Okay, so that whole first 2 measures is going to go 1, 2.
Sorry everybody, it looks like we lost Dave's feed. We have been having a little bit of trouble with his feed tonight, so hopefully I can get him back from here real quick.
So we lost the feed. And we're back. Sorry. So place I'm at doesn't have the greatest Wi-Fi. We've been generally consistent, but I'm having some trouble in the past couple of days. So apologize if we have a little trouble with the feed. We'll just cut this short and we'll do it again. But anyway, so let's try and loop those first 2 measures. So it's going to go 1, 2. And, you know, it doesn't, you can totally play the chords on those up strums too. This is just, you know, a general template to start from. So similar thing happening in bars 3 and 4. You're going to go to the D chord. You're going to go. So that's exactly the same as the A chord. Bars 1 and 3 are exactly the same. And so again, sometimes it feels nice to hit that and of 4 with the down strum, but I'm going to try and stick to the up strum. And then this one after that, you're going to go. Is that, sorry, I'm trying to see my, yeah, okay. So it's going to go 3, 4, and 1, and 2. Okay, so you're relaxing your left hand on beat 2. You're going up on the end of 4, you're skipping over 1, and then you're going to go up again because it's 2 ups in a row, and of 4, and of 1, 3, 4, and 1, and 2. And. Okay, so again, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. Okay, one more time. 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. Then you're going to go and 4, and 4, and so in total, it's going to go 3, 4, and 1, and 2. Okay. Also have the downbeat. You're going to find that feels really comfortable to just kind of fall into the next measure because that's how it's going to go. So in context, it goes. Okay, so let's put the whole measures 2 and 3, Measures 3 and 4 together. So we're going to go 3, 4. Sorry, I'm like looking almost at the camera, but not because that's where the music's at. I'm not a weirdo. I just have music elsewhere because don't worry about me, huh? So let's try and put the whole thing together, okay? We're going to go nice and slow, and then we're going to put it with a track. Jason is typing. I just want to make sure we didn't lose the feed again, unless we have a question. Having a question is way cooler than losing the feed. That's for sure. My face isn't in the camera right there. I do have a question. What happened to my face? It's right in the center of the camera. What are you talking about? I'll take that question. Let's take that question. You guys could use a break anyway. I'm going to play it through. Can you comment on your guitars? Yes. First of all, I'm not sponsored by anybody, but it would be cool if I was. This is a G&L. G&L is the last company Fender made. L stands for Leo Fender. G for George Fullerton. Great company. This model is technically Indonesian, but what's great about them is they use all the American parts, so it's like ash body, these Z-coil pickups, so they're technically single coil. Last pickups Fender designed before he died, actually. It's got a great tone. I love it. This thing is a B-bender, but it's bypassed right now. In theory, you would put the string through here, and then there's a little bar that goes into it, and you rock it against your hip, and it bends the B up a whole step, or you could set it for a half step or minor third. Traditionally, it's a whole step because you're getting that, that kind of, wow, that kind of bend. Country-ish, pedal steel-ish. The other one I have is that I've been playing for most of these weeks is the Reverend Aersonic. Traded my SG for that one. Don't regret it, although I would like to change the back pickup. Anyway, we're going on. We're going to put this whole thing together before we play it against the track. What time? Yeah, we're on track. So it's going to go 1, 2. Okay, wonderful. You know what we're going to do? We're going to put it along with the track. Track runs about, I don't know, 2.5 minutes. So we're just going to sit in. We're going to play the whole thing through the whole track. We're right at the point where, in theory, I was going to play it twice through, but we might just play it once through, and if we have time, we'll come back. But you get the idea. Everybody ready? You'll hear 8 clicks up front. 8 clicks. 3, 4, 1, 2. Here we go. Sweet. Jason's typing. Hopefully we didn't cut out on feed. That is number 1, rhythm option number 1. We're going to rhythm option number 2. Okay. Question. That's way better than losing the feed. I had a hard time keeping my wrist loose with this strum. Yeah, so as far as exercises that can help with that, honestly, just taking the time, like, first of all, you want to be relaxed. You want to be walking around. You want to be hitting at let's see what's. Oh yeah, this is about 90 beats per minute. So perhaps this is too fast. Like maybe just sit down with a click, and by sit down I mean stand up. Actually, relax, let the arms hang loose, just walk around. And the basic feel is this. So so you're trying to focus on the low end. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. And if you can do that with like a nice loose wrist, because the thing is, what happens is if you're worried about what's happening on the left hand, your right hand's going to tense up and you're not even going to realize it, or clearly you did, but at first you don't because you're so focused on what's going here. So being able to get, just to, like even along with the track. Oh, I'm doing it backwards. So it's high end first. 1 E and a 2 E and a. If you are a Jam Play member, you can download the track and then you can slow it down. We are live streaming to YouTube, so you can slow it down on YouTube if you want to play along with it as well later. But just with a click too is good. that should be good. Can't solve all the problems, but hopefully that helps. Thanks for your question. Appreciate it. So we're moving on to rhythm option number 2. Really quick, actually, before we do that. You can play that simple progression, like the level in between the level we just did, and this level we're about to go to, would be to just take bar chord versions. So if you were to play with bar chords, you got your A right here, you got your B minor there, and you got your D there. And so that's an option too. If somebody's playing, you know, if there's 2 guitar players and you both are kind of beginner, it doesn't make sense for both of you to play the exact same thing. If you can avoid it, you know, this is a little higher, so it would add a little more dynamic if one of you can play bar chords. Something to think about. Speaking of bar chords, that's where we're going to. So this one's going to start with just a root, okay? So instead of a straight major chord, we're actually going to take our pinky off and kind of turn it into a dominant 7 chord. I think that's technically what I used on the recording. And what you can do, you can either hammer your middle finger on, or you can hammer your middle and ring together. Both are going to sound good, same accomplishment. So you're going to go 1, 2. So it's basically the same thing rhythmically, but instead you're now breaking up the chord, and you got a bar chord, so you can do that cool hammer. Then you're going to go up on garbage, or just, you know, muted strings. So, and then immediately down on the chord again. 1. So you're just bouncing back and forth, very similar. Oh. I thought I intonated my guitars. I guess I'm just used to playing that other neck or something. So you can either do a minor chord or you can do a minor 7 chord. The only difference is minor is, you know, your normal bar chord, and then minor 7, if you take your pinky off, you get that note as well. Either one is going to sound good. Okay, so let's just do that one more time. 2, 3, 4, out. Okay. After that, we're going to move up to here, and we're going to do this thing. These are known as thirds, if you've never played these before. Essentially what you're doing is we're in the key of A. No, just kidding, we're in the key of, did I say we're in the key of A earlier? We're actually in the key of D, 2 sharps. Our tonal center is around A, so it's a little confusing. So it's technically 5, 6, 1, 5. Semantics, you can, you know, it depends on, well, it's not semantics if you're trying to pick a key to solo over. As far as the chords are concerned, your bass player is concerned, you're probably thinking about it in.
All right, it looks like we lost the feed one more time here. I'm going to give it a couple seconds, see if it comes back. If it doesn't, we'll think about cutting this short and possibly rescheduling.
No video. I mean, I got video. Video's back, guys. I want to keep pushing through, but I understand. I want to give you a quality lesson, so if we got to do this again, we'll do it again. But until then, if we lose it another time, maybe we'll do it. Whatever Jason thinks. He's running the show. So anyway, so we got. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna play these thirds. So I was mentioning. Basically, what I'm doing is playing D major, 2 sharps up 1 string, and then likewise on the other string, and you play them together. So if you're not really familiar with the neck, obviously, or even your key signatures, if you want to explore this option, you kind of have to just memorize it. I think of them as together, split, split, together, together, split, split, together. Aww. Together again. So the little riff I'm going to play with it is going to go, so down, up, and then there's one more. So the next beat is going to start with the one you were just on. 1 E, technically 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, okay? So that's the riff. I think I'm playing an extra one there. Yeah, sorry. You could, obviously, you can do whatever you want. You could go a little longer. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish. But you're going to have to make a quick jump. So I would recommend kind of holding off on that. So, okay, so again, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, so in context with this, it's going to go. Okay, one more time. Again. Jump to a D, so it's going to go. And again, it's all same kind of vibe as the first one. So you're kind of muting on that and of, it's technically the of too. Down, down, up, down. And then you're rocking back and forth between the root and the chord, so root, chord. And then you're right back to that A. You're going to do that hammer on, or not. You can just play the chord. Here it is with a hammer. I can do better. So it's got a little bit of more pizzazz when you do the hammer. Then we're going to run right up a pentatonic scale, okay? So it's going to go. Just take it that far. So you're going to play open, 2nd fret, 5th fret. That's what we got on the 6th string. Then we're going to go chromatic, 2, 3, 4 on the 5th string, 2, 4 on the 4th string, 2, 4 on the 3rd string. So I was just thinking ahead and I just want to make sure it was the correct finger. So you got and a 4 E, and a 2 E, and a 2 E, and a, okay? So it'd be like, one more time. Okay, and then the last part, you're gonna go middle finger on the 2nd string, 5th fret, ring finger on the 6th fret of the 3rd string, having a little dyslexic moment. You're gonna play those, and you can slide them back twice. And then you're basically just going to make a regular old A chord. So it's going to go. So in total, it'll go. One more time. You can even slide into those first notes. Guys, why am I messing up? Okay, so again, okay, let's go a little slower. So it's going to go. Okay, let's put the whole thing together before we jump into the track. So again, it's going to go. So we'll probably have to go over that. So you really have to get your first finger back to that 5th fret pretty quick. A little slower. Apparently I need more practice, per usual. Let's play it against the track, shall we? Here we go. So we're going to go all the way through the track. And if you notice, there was one time I was playing through it, and I skipped over the thirds and bar 2. So that's, if one of these things is a little hairy, like you could just do the intro thing. Like you could just do rhythm part 1 over this if this is too advanced, or apparently it's too advanced for me. You can just hang with those open chord options. You can even try the bar chords. You don't even have to do that part either. You can totally take the time to do exactly, what you're comfortable with. Honestly, a lot of the times when I write these things, I got 4 measures to show you something. So I tend to get greedy and try and pack as much as I can in 4 measures. If you're actually trying to hold this down, you wouldn't necessarily do everything all the time. These are just ideas that you can pull from, so that if you don't just want to play chords, you can do more than chords. Okay, let's try it. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Practice that slide. You get that. Okay, so that's the second rhythm option. Again, you can kind of mix and match. You could just play the chords. You could just do the third thing. You could start exploring. So if you were to take the thirds, starting randomly in the middle of the track. What you tend to end up doing is, like, if you know your pentatonics, those are going to sound good too. And you kind of need to know where your A's are. So, like, there's an A right there, there's an A right here. That's why this third one. So, for instance, you know, if you're kind of messing around, if you play the 5th fret and the 7th fret right there, it's going to imply like a D chord. So that's going to sound really good on the D. And you're so close to resolving. Like, you could go out to this A, but you could also kind of go across and start combining the 4th thing. So 2nd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret. We got split because you got your D-shaped triad up there for A. That's not technically what we're working on, but it's something to think about. Likewise with this, that's basically the 3rd thing too. Straight across happens to be a 3rd on strings 2 and 3 because the B is tuned differently. Here's your 3rds again. These are all, like, that's a major 3rd, that's a minor 3rd. And what that's doing is you're taking this E shape and we're walking it down to here. So you're going, it's kind of similar to 6s and 3rds on this kind of stuff. Pentatonics, major pentatonics all day. Great. Okay. So that does it for the rhythm part. Now we're going to go for the lead. I'm just going to grab my sheet right here. So page 2 of the tab. I'm assuming we're still good. If you have any questions, please shoot them over to Jason. I love questions. It makes me feel like I'm actually teaching somebody. And then it makes me feel like I'm making a difference in the world. We are golden. No current questions. Why do I read out loud when you type to me? I don't know, because I'm a simpleton. So really, we do have a question. Great, wonderful. I'll take that right now before we jump into this lead part for sure. But as he's typing that out, basically, when soloing over this, you have several options when you're soloing over changes, especially something happy like this. It's always good to play the specific pentatonic for each one. So for instance, if you're on A, you can play an A major pentatonic, B minor, which actually, when you go to the D chord, happens to be the same pentatonic, and actually, if you compare those directly, there's only one note difference between them, but that one note will make all the difference. Another thing you can do, which is generally what we're going to be pulling from, is combining major and minor. So A major pentatonic and A minor pentatonic. Question: what keys can this rhythm be played in and still work with the track? Well, so the thing is, you have to play the chords. The chords are A, B minor, and D, and then A. So that's a given. As far as soloing over it, again, you can use D major. So that's just in general sounds like this. And when you do that, it sounds good. But if you don't know, really what the chord shapes are, again, like knowing where the chord tones are helps, because otherwise you're just going to sound like you're noodling. Other than that, you're kind of just A minor pentatonic. That's going to sound good all day. But it's a specific thing. So, but really A major pentatonic combined with A minor pentatonic, and that's what this lick's going to be. So we're going to start up in this B.B. King box. So we got the C shape. That's close enough. So you're going to, even though normally when you play the pentatonic, your middle finger goes on that note, we're going to place our first finger on it, just because that's how the vocabulary is going to play out. You're going to give it a whole set bend. And you're gonna release it, but you're only going to release it slightly so you get that feel. So you're going from the C sharp to the C, back to the C sharp. So full bend, half bend, full bend, which, you know, if you're not really familiar with bending, it's a little deceiving. You don't go halfway for a half bend, whole way for a whole bend. You go whole way for a whole bend and like 3/4 away for a half bend, because the tension relationship is just different. So it doesn't take much. You could also go, you know, so instead of playing 12th fret and holding up a whole step, you can also go up to the 13th fret, and then you can just release it to exactly where it is. So technically it's going to go. Okay, so very almost cliche. I mean, whether it's, you know, Jimmy Page on The Ocean, I think there's definitely some Clapton moments, like Slash on Patience. Yeah, maybe Sweet Child of Mine too. There's, you know, it's a good country bend too. It's kind of coming from all that. So you're gonna go 1. So you gotta go. You gotta bend up 3 times in a row, technically. Then as you're held, you're gonna get this clash. What? Except you're not gonna let them ring together, but technically, that's the kind of effect you can. So you're gonna play the 10th fret on the first string, 12th fret on the first string, and then you're gonna go back to 12 for a whole bend. And then you're going to release it to that 10th fret, which is the root, so it feels really at home. So you got, so that's the first half. Okay, one more time. Then you're going to complement it again. I jam-packed it as full as I can, just so I can give you as many ideas as I can before they start yelling at me for giving you too much material. But actually, the way this is going to play out, there's going to be 4 measures. You can totally just do, you know, the first measures 1 and 3, and then fill the chords in between, or measures 2 and 4. So we'll explore that in a little bit. But yeah. Then you're going to come down here. You're going to bar the 5th fret on the 1st and 2nd string. And you really need to get underneath it with your thumb so you can kind of hammer your ring finger on. Very Hendrixy thing. Again, so the reason why you got to get underneath it is because you need to have that first string ringing the whole time. Okay, so you're going to immediately hammer on and then play it normal. So you got, and then your middle finger, again, this is kind of outlining an A major chord, almost like just the top end of the triad. So your middle finger is going to fall naturally on that 6th fret of the 3rd string. So you're just going to immediately slide it back into the 4th fret like a grace note. So it's going to go, and then you're going to resolve that and stretch your 1st finger down to that 2nd fret. So you got, so together, let's do that one more time. So really again, that is what you want to go for. So together it goes 1. One more time. 1. One more time for giggles. Okay, now we're going to come up here, and this is going to be the classic position. So normally people think about the minor pentatonic like this. If you want to make those same notes sound major, instead of putting your first finger on that, if you take your pinky and put it on that note and just shift everything down 3 frets, That was the pentatonic we were pulling from rhythm part 2. It's basically right out of that straight minor pentatonic, although we're applying it as major. All pentatonic positions can be either major or minor. So we're going to bring it all the way up here. Very Allman Brothers-y thing. So yeah, you're going to come off 17, 14, 17, 14. And then so that's going to start on B2 as well. 1, 2, and then you're going to slide back to 10, 12 and 10. So I'm not picking 12 or 10. Okay? Again, same kind of shape here, like where your middle finger felt right natural. It's going to feel pretty natural there. So you can kind of just take that middle finger on the 11th fret and slide it up to the 14th fret, all on the 3rd string. So it sounds like this. Okay, one more time. One more time. Bueno. So let's try to, let's put those together. So you got 1. Okay, so let's go a little slower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. One more time. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the first half. The first 2 measures right there. There's enough to take out of that if you never mess with any of that kind of stuff. One of the hardest things about that, obviously, is going to be that bend, because it's a pre-bend. So you have to bend up to where you know the note is. So that's, depending on what guitar you're using, like if you switch to another guitar later, it's going to feel different because the tension's different. So there's really only one way to do that, and it's to get really familiar with each of your instruments. You can even do that up here. So you'd be like, and so what I did there is if this is the 15th fret, you go up to the 17th fret. So, or did I say 15? 5th fret plus 12 equals 17. So you can do that same thing up there if you want to be like, one more time. Okay, and then we only have one more part left. Now we're going to go minor. So notice I was kind of mixing and matching. Another good note when you're in major is hitting that flat 7. Really, mixing major and minor is the way to go. You can get so much mileage out of that. Okay, so we're going to jump back to the classic position. Same position we're using up here, but now we're going to use it as how most of you are probably thinking of it. We're going to go straight blues. So there's going to be like a little rake. Okay, so we're raking into that 5th fret on the 1st string. So we're coming right down, Similar. So you're going to go rake into it. So what I'm doing is I'm muting strings like 3 and 4 and 2. Even just 3 and 2. And then applying my 1st finger at the last second as I lift those fingers up. So it's going to go pinky on the 8th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret on the 2nd string after that. You're going to play the 7th fret. So it's going to just be straight scale. And then you're going to mute it. So I kind of put my finger on the string. Then you're going to slightly bend up, pre-bend. And I like to get underneath it again because it gives it a little stank, a little attitude. So it's going to go. And that was supposed to be it. You can pull it off or you can not. I didn't write it as a pull it off, but I think most of you will probably feel pretty comfortable pulling that off. So you're going to go, you're going to bring it down and then snap it to your 1st finger. you got. Okay, one more time. In context with the other part. 2, 1. So you could, a little, what I just did there was, instead of grabbing the F sharp here and sliding up, which is really convenient. If you can do that in all one finger, we had a lick similar to that on, I think it was week 1. No, it was probably last week actually. If you can, by doing all those slides on one string, you're beginning to emulate kind of like a slide guitar, which is also trying to emulate the voice. So inadvertently, once removed, Kevin Bacon style, you're trying to emulate a voice by sliding up and down a string like that, continuous thing. Trucks, always trucks. So yeah, let's put this whole thing together with the track. I think I'm just gonna play through it. We're nearing the end here. Again, if you have any questions, you can send them over to Jason. Happy to answer them for you. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. We got fundamentals on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock on Eastern Standard, so you can practice, hammer-ons, pull-on slides, all those fun things. And next week we got another progression. I don't remember what it is. Why would I remember what it is? Anyway, let's put this against a track. Get those questions if you got it. If not, I guess I'm doing my job properly. That doesn't seem right. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, you know what? I totally spaced out there. Hold on. Let's give it a fair shot. I was about to play the... you could. You could combine all those are all licks. They all fit. Here we go. I'll explain. I'll be back. I'll be back with more of the things to say. Apparently I got bored. So you get the idea. What I was mentioning before was we, you can just do the first one and the third one. So let's just see what that sounds like, just so it's not so condensed, cluttered. Again, you wouldn't necessarily do all these things all the time. They're just here to spark ideas for something that you could do. Feel free to take them and tweak them. That's your job. I did my job. Now you got to do your job besides practicing this. So yeah, just to give you the sense of like what that would sound like. Here's just the first measure and just the third measure. So you got. So obviously I feel the need to resolve it, right? Okay, here's just measures 2 and measures 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you get the idea. You can kind of, you can throw chords in between. You can just pick one of them and see if you can do rhythm part number 2, and then just back away from whatever chord you happen to be playing when, if you're just choosing to do the last one, it would sound like. You don't even have to do the thirds. You can just comp that. So that's what I would recommend. Maybe basically it's a really good exercise to just take one, get good at one of them, and see if you can hold down the rhythm, but go to that. So for instance, I think you guys get the idea, but you can go. You get the idea. So I think that's about all I want to say. We are winding down. Unless there's any other questions, I would love to hear them. If not, if you think of them later, if you happen to watch this later, you can find me on the internet at Dave Brown's Music, Dave Brown with an S, davebrownsmusic.com, Gmail, Instagram, Facebook, all the fun stuff. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you dug this track. Again, we got Practicing Fundamentals on Tuesday and a whole nother jam next Thursday. So please do hang out, and please do your homework and have fun. Stay safe. We'll see you soon.